In this video, I'll be reviewing The Food Lab by Kenji Lopez. Kenji Lopez is an American chef. He's well known for doing his Food Lab series on the Serious Eats website, but he's gone around on different websites like the New York Times and Cooking Light, where he's written various recipes or he's just been a columnist. He started off in Boston at a few restaurants, and he's kind of jumped around to New York. Fun fact, he was in Boston because he graduated from MIT as an architect, and the only reason he decided to go into cooking was he just wanted a job and he was going to be a waiter, but they said they needed someone in the back cooking, so that's kind of how everything started. Later, he would end up in San Mateo, California, where he would open a restaurant called Werschall. It's a restaurant that sells German-inspired food, and it's still open today if you're ever in the area and want to check it out. You might also know Kenji from his cooking show on YouTube. It seems to have gone very popular these days, especially during the pandemic when he was churning out videos. I really recommend watching these. It's kind of like being a fly on the wall of a professional chef. It's really great to see his little tricks and techniques that he does as he's cooking. The Food Lab was written and published in 2015. It's a book I always recommend to people when they ask, if I could only buy one cookbook, what would it be? This book changed how I think about cooking and how I tackle recipes and my techniques that I use. Once you start reading this book, you'll realize that all these famous YouTubers started off from reading this book. Binging with Babish, Adam Raguseo. You can tell that they all just read this book and were inspired to do their own cooking channel. This book makes high technique cooking seem really accessible and easy, and he gives a lot of great tips, temperatures, techniques to use as you cook. This book is huge, it's over 900 pages, but I read the whole thing and I want to read it again. It's just so fantastic. In 2016, this book won both the James Beard Foundation Award for General Cooking and the International Association of Culinary Professionals Award for the Best American Cookbook, and it got Cookbook of the Year. So this book is really highly praised. Combing through this book is just a great way to really hone in on your cooking skills. I mean, it converted me to start using kosher salt, which I never used. I would always use table salt, but just switching to kosher is just one small thing that has such a significant impact, and that's what this book is full of. It's full of small little changes that will give a significant impact to your cooking. He goes over 9 sections in this book, and they're very lengthy. There's a lot of reading in this book, but just read all of it. He goes over eggs and dairy and breakfast, to soups, to steaks, to chicken, to blanching vegetables, to roasting vegetables, to burgers, to pasta, to salads, to frying, and each one just goes over so many details. I always have this book on hand to help me out with other recipes I find and I don't really like, because it's a really good reference book. A lot of these recipes you can find online on the Serious Eats website, but the point is to have everything consolidated into one cookbook. So it's great to read this book and then maybe just search for the recipe you want and find it on Serious Eats and cook from that. But I recommend reading this book because it's all consolidated to one nice book. There's great pictures in the book to help you vision out each recipe, or maybe there's a technique that you can learn and gives you just a visual guide for that. If you want a book that just teaches you how to be a better chef, just figuring out what you love to cook and with better recipes, then I really recommend going out and buying this book. It's so great. I really don't have many things bad to say about it, just because I love it so much. You can definitely tell Kenji has put so much passion and thinking in each of the recipes and each of the write-ups. There's techniques like learning how to slice an onion properly, to baking chicken properly, to know how to properly blanch broccoli or roast Brussels sprouts or fry fish or cook salmon. I mean, literally, if there's a specific technique that you want to know, it's in here, and there's a good explanation to why he does what he does. Even in the beginning, he goes over necessary tools that you'll need, like a thin spatula or a wooden spoon or different knives. He goes over which knives he prefers, like how he prefers maybe stainless steel for someone at home, or someone who wants a very sharp knife to get carbon steel. Another big thing that he recommends is using weight for recipes, which really changed how I cook. It makes everything way more consistent, and it's very easy for me to replicate recipes. Kenji goes over cooking lingo you might not know, so it's good to kind of get a reference for that. This book is great for just beginners who have no idea how to cook, or people who are good at cooking but want to increase their skills. I love this book a lot. It's one of the most important cookbooks I've read, and because of that, I'm giving this book a 10 out of 10. Woo!